this is G here. I'm going to be showing you today how to make Millionaire shortbread, okay? It's going to be across 3 different videos today because there are 3 elements to this. The first one is going to be the shortbread base, which is the first video, which is this one. The second video will be the caramel middle layer, and then the top layer will be the chocolate, okay? So we're going to do the shortbread with me now, alright? So you're going to need to allow yourself quite a bit of time for this. So when we're doing this in class, we're doing this over 2 lessons. So the one lesson will be the shortbread because it's got to bake, it's got to be cooled. And then the second lesson is going to be the caramel and then the chocolate topping. Again, the caramel is going to need to cool and in the fridge, so you may have to do the chocolate at a different point, okay? So you're going to need today, for the shortbread, you're going to need butter. Ta-da! You're going to need your plain flour, your golden caster sugar. You're going to need a oven-proof dish, pre-greased with grease-proof paper as well. I would highly recommend using the grease-proof because you're never going to get this thing out otherwise, okay? So make sure you've got your grease-proof in there as well. Doesn't matter so much if the grease-proof isn't greased as well, but definitely the dish, and so that it sticks the paper in there as well, okay? So there you go. Right, so that's what you're going to need. You're going to need scales, bowl, butter knife, and magic spoon and stuff like that, okay? So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn my scales on. I want it on grams, and remember I'm not weighing the bowl, so I need to make sure that it's on 0 before I get started, okay? I need to make sure I've washed my hands. Obviously we've talked about this before in other tutorials and at school as well. Hygiene is really, really important, especially at the moment, okay? So please make sure that you're washing your hands, okay? Right, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using a rubbing in method. So we're going to be going like this with our fingers, okay? So rubbing it in, all right, like we're making a pastry. So the first ingredients I'm going to put in there, okay, is I'm going to be rubbing in my butter and my flour. So just to give you a bit of a guide, I need 250 grams of plain flour and I need 200 grams of butter. So my butter is 250 grams. Now here's a life hack for you kids, because down the side here, usually on the butter, we're in 50 gram measurements, so that's pretty easy to work out roughly where 200 is, so you're not trying to guesstimate that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 50, 100, 100, 150. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little marker with my butter knife where that 200 is. And then just to check, 199. Yes, get in. All right, so 1 or 2 over or under is absolutely fine. Okay, any more than that, okay, is an issue. Now what I'm going to do with my butter knife is I'm going to just make sure that I'm cutting it up into smaller quantities because I want to do that rubbing in method really well, and I'm not going to be able to do that with a massive block of butter. Okay, so let's just try and divide that down into smaller amounts. Okay, keep going until you've got it sort of 1 centimetre cubes, okay, because you'll find it easier to work with. Okay, oh, throwing it all over the place. There we go. Da, 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 da. Nearly there. Should have played some music in the background while we're doing this, shouldn't we? There we go. Right, nearly there. Okay, so have a little look, okay, and then really divide that down, okay? The smaller the pieces, the easier it is to work with. It's a bit like when we've made pastry in the past. So I'm going to zero it off again on my scales, and I want 250 grams of plain flour. So I'm going to keep going until I get 250. So I'm about 100 now. Okay, obviously when you get a bit closer to it, just be careful that you don't overdo it. 95, 98, 99, 200. Right, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to move my scales out the way. Okay, and this is where clean hands is essential. Okay, so I'm going to just go right to the very bottom of my bowl, and I'm going to start breaking up this butter with my fingers now, okay, and rubbing in. It's going to take a few minutes to do this. Okay, and the idea is that you're looking for a breadcrumb consistency, okay, breadcrumb consistency. You're not trying to make like a big splodgy mess, okay? That's why rubbing in is really important, okay? So rub that flour together, Okay, rub, rub, rub. I hope you can see that okay. Okay, it's going to take just a little bit of time to do this. Okay, the idea is you don't want massive big lumps of butter in there. Okay, you want it quite a consistent mixture. Try not to get it all over the kitchen. Remember, the more mess you make, the more you've got to tidy it up. And I'm quite messy, as you can see. Quite a messy cook. There we go. Okay, we're getting there. Right, I'm just going to do a quick waggle for you. Okay, what a good one looks like. So let's have a little look in the bowl, because I think you're going to say to me, no miss. You need to keep working at that, love, okay, because that is nowhere near breadcrumbs consistency. So let's keep going with it then. Okay, just keep on going with it. Keep rubbing. Keep rubbing. Okay, and we're getting there, we're getting there. It's time consuming. So while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you oven temperatures. Okay, so you're going to need your oven at about 160 degrees, which is a fan oven. So I suppose that's gas mark 4, gas mark 3, gas mark 4, something along those lines. You don't want it too hot because you're going to burn your shortbread. Okay, you need it enough for the butter to melt into the dry ingredients and create that kind of that compressed sort of combined mixture. Right, we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. Hang on, there we go. Okay, keep going. Okay, we're going to have another look now. Okay, we'll just bring it to the top there. Right, so it's looking a bit more even now. We are getting there, kids, okay? So we're just going to keep going. Just find those massive big lumps now, okay? And lift from the bottom, okay? Lift it from the bottom of the bowl, okay? And just keep squashing it together. Right, keep rubbing that together. Still big lumps still. Okay, so find those big lumps, start rubbing it, rub, rub, rub. Okay, and once you've got it to that almost crumble consistency, okay, then we know that we are there. And I think, my friends, we are about there. Okay, that is as good as it's going to get today. There we go. Okay, so you can see the difference how we've brought that on now, all right? There are a couple of big lumps still in there, but for the purposes of this video, that's fine. Right, back to the scales. So now I'm going to put in my sugar. So I'm going to go back onto my scales, zero it off, make sure I'm on grams, and this time I need 100 grams of golden caster sugar. Now if you haven't got golden caster sugar, I said to you on Teams that just normal standard caster sugar will do the trick. Obviously it was just going to be that your shortbread's a little bit lighter in colour than it is if you use the golden one. Obviously the darker the colour the sugar, the darker the bake that you're going to get, okay? So I need 100 grams, okay? Really crucial that you have zeroed off those scales before you start pouring in that sugar. That will do nicely, thank you very much. Right, so at this point then, okay, I'm then going to stir it in using a spoon, right, because I don't really want to be destroying all those breadcrumbs that we've just stood and lovingly made. Now at this point you could put in a little bit of vanilla extract for flavouring if you really wanted to. I'm not going to today though. Okay, you could add that in. Right, now then, once that's really well mixed, this is where I'm going to go back to my oven-proof dish. I'm going to bring it over, okay, and then I'm going to pour in my ingredients into my dish. Now remember I asked you to bring a dish that was quite deep-sided because obviously this has got to bake in layers. Okay. In fact, I think there's a bit too much for this dish, so I'm going to take some out. I might make 2. Okay. Now, with my back of my spoon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down. Okay, so with the back of my spoon, I'm going to compress it down right into all the corners of my tray. Remember, this needs to be an oven-proof dish as well. Okay, so please don't make sure it's not a plastic one. Okay, glass, metal, a ceramic one is fine. Okay, so mine's a glass one, mine's a Pyrex one. Right, I'm just going to spend a bit of time because I can get this more compressed with it being on the worktop. Right, I'm going to revert back to my hands as well because again, I can kind of push it deeper down. And you want it compressed, okay? You don't want a shortbread base that's not compressed. If it's too crumbly, when you pull it out of the tin, it's just going to crumble everywhere. So just really make sure that you're pressing it down, get that pressure going on it, okay? Press, press, press. Right, nearly there now. So try and use a spoon, if not, fingers, as long as they're clean, is all good. Okay, we are about there. Right, so try and make sure it's flat, okay, because remember this is your base, like that, okay, so you can see it's compressed in, okay, it's not going anywhere. If I was to lift that out, okay, then it would literally stay in its form, okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pop that in the oven. So as I said, we need this at 160 degrees fan, or probably about 180 convention oven or gas mark 4-ish, okay. So put it in your oven. It needs to cook for about 45 minutes until golden brown, 45 minutes. If it starts burning, check on it about 30 minutes in and then bring it out if you think it is done, okay? So 45 minutes until it's golden brown now. When it starts going golden brown, you know it's cooked, you can bring it out, okay? Right, I'm going to go off and do that now. Couple of health and safety things. Number one, obviously washing your hands is really important throughout this because you are using them as the tool in the kitchen. And the second thing to confirm is that you need either oven gloves, you need tea towel or something along that line for using the oven, because remember it's going to be hot. Can you make sure you've got an adult present as well when you're using the oven, please? Right, so this is the first of our 3 videos done, okay? And I'll check back in with you in a bit and we'll get the caramel done then, okay? Right, see you later, guys.